What's going on, Guardians? TBL here. Now, last week we put out a video on a few meta alternative weapons that you guys really responded well to. There was a lot of discussion about personal favorites and hidden gems in the comments, and I really wanted to do a bit of a follow-up video covering a few more guns that you guys brought up that are kind of outside of the norm in the Crucible. So, today we're going to be looking at 3 more guns that aren't quite as good as the current top meta weapons, but with the right rolls, can be pretty darn effective themselves. Alright, for number 3, just in time for the Iron Banner next week, the first gun we'll be taking a look at is the Branded Lord Fusion Rifle. Now, this one's interesting. It's in a very specific and exclusive archetype shared by the Split Shifter Pro, with an impact of 74 and an extremely fast charge time of 34, the fastest in the fusion rifle class. This thing voops with the quickness. It benefits very much from that fast charge rate as a decent panic anti-shotgun weapon with naturally high aim assist, reload speed, and an above average base range. Seriously, in my testing of this thing, I had Juggernaut Titans bursting their way right towards me. I had to swap from my primary straight to this thing, and the charge rate makes it so that you can get that shot out very, very quickly. Now up close, this thing can seriously put in work, wiping Guardians who are just a little too far out for Matador one-shots, but just close enough for you to blast them. So what's the downside of this anti-shotgun weapon? The gun deals about 38 damage per bolt, so you have to land 6 bolts to kill. That's right, 6! This can really be a major drawback and can cripple the Branded Lord at longer ranges, since it can be very difficult keeping those bolts on target. As such, this gun is generally relegated to add duty in PvE. But if you've got a steady hand and work well aiming under fast-paced gameplay, this thing will actually surprise you with just how effective it can be. You're definitely going to want linear compensator, which will help make the recoil almost completely vertical. In the second column, you can have braced frame or perfect balance, as the stability will help you maintain that accuracy and bolt spread, and definitely shoot for rangefinder for that tighter bolt spread in column 3. Now, this gun may not be quite as good in most situations as its brother the Saladins Vigil, but with the right roll, it definitely puts in work, and you'll be able to pick it up in next week's Iron Banner. Next up, we've got the B29 Party Favor, the Crucible Pulse Rifle. A lot of you Guardians really picked up on the waltz from the Future War Cult in the last video, noting that it can indeed be a pretty suitable alternative to the Grasp of Malak and the Clever Dragon. So this time around we'll be taking a look at the B29 Party Favor, a Crucible Pulse Rifle in the same archetype tree as the Hawksaw and Suros PDX-45. Now, the Party Favor overall is a pretty interesting weapon. It is of course in the 73 rate of fire 7 impact archetype, meaning it's fully capable of killing Guardians in about 2.5 bursts. And with the right stability rolls, pulling that off can be really simple. It's easy to turn this gun into a laser beam. The gun has a very high base reload speed of 78 and an exceptionally high base aim assist value of 70. Comparatively speaking, the Hawksaw's base aim assist is 60 and only maxes out at 65, so the Party Favor definitely gets some points there. I really enjoyed using this weapon. It's a solid gun for mid-range encounters and can function pretty well as a poor Guardian's vendor Hawksaw of old. But it certainly does have its problems. The base stability and magazine size on this thing are a little bit below average, and the perk choices to correct these flaws can sometimes cause other unforeseen problems. For example, running a stability boosting perk like Braced Frame lowers the gun's magazine size to a paltry 18, meaning you'll be reloading in encounters fairly often, while other stability perks will take a hit on this gun's range stat, putting it at a slight disadvantage in mid-range combat. Ideally, if you can land a roll with something like Outlaw or Braced Frame if you can handle the lower magazine size, and either counterbalance Rangefinder or Headseeker in the last tree, you'll actually have yourself a solid little laser beam Hawksaw light to try out in the Crucible. Or of course you could just go buy the vendor version, which comes with Rodeo, Partial Refund, Small Bore, Rifled Barrel, and Glass Half Full. It ain't half bad of a roll. The Party Favor won't be competing directly with stuff like the Grasp of Malak or the Clever Dragon, but it can certainly hold its own in the Crucible, especially if you max out this gun's stability. But alright, moving on to the final gun on our list today. Saladins Vigil, the Archon's Forge Fusion Rifle. Oh man, the Vigil. This is probably my new favorite fusion since the Rise of Iron went live. This bad boy is an absolute monster and can perform really well in both PvE and PvP. Residing in the high impact tier of fusions, think the Darkblade Spite and the Praetorian Foil, and it can be obtained from the Archon's Forge PvE challenge. And believe me, it is definitely worth the grind. The Vigil is capable of killing in just 4 bolts, has great base stability and range, and a very easy to manage recoil direction. If you like high impact fusions, this thing will be right up your alley. And if you've been looking for a decent fusion that can sometimes double as an accidental sniper rifle, well, the Vigil can kinda cover that for you too, allowing you to erase shotgun rushers well before they get into Matador shenanigans range. The bolt spread on this weapon is actually pretty trivial to control thanks to its high base stability, making landing those bolts super easy to do, even over long ranges. And because the stability is so high, you can focus almost purely on range boosting perks to extend the performance of this gun. Perk-wise, Linear Compensator will make the recoil almost purely vertical, and as a bonus, it always comes stock on this weapon. Any real range boosting perk will be appreciated, but shoot for Rifled Barrel as that'll give you the largest benefit while only negatively affecting your reload speed. Enhanced Battery is also a great perk, but watch out for Accelerated Coils, as that will raise the number of bolts required to kill from 4 to 5, but you will get that faster charge rate. Finally, of course, Rangefinder is always a fantastic perk choice in the last tree, as that will improve the bolt spread even further. Now, as much as I love the Vigil, and you guys can see my roll right there, it's not quite all sunshine and rainbows here, as of course there are a few drawbacks to this weapon. In the Crucible, where you'll be facing shotgun rushers, using a fusion rifle in this archetype requires a lot of planning and map awareness. Because the charge rate is so low, you'll need a significant amount of time to ready a shot, so pre-charging is definitely something you'll have to get used to. In extremely close range, shotguns will of course have a significant edge on you, so you'll want to play keep away and time your shots so that you kill rushers before they ever get close enough to one-shot you. Overall, the Saladins Vigil is an absolutely fantastic weapon. It feels great to shoot and can work as a very reliable gun in both PvE and PvP. Now, of course, the grind to get one of these things can be very long. For some people, they're in the Archon's Forge for hours upon hours before ever seeing one drop. But alright Guardians, that's it for our list today. Again, these are just a few weapons that aren't quite the Matador 64 right now, but are definitely very good in both PvE and PvP. If you've got any of these guns, let us know those rolls down in the comment section below. And if you enjoyed this video, keep dropping weapon suggestions and we'll keep making more videos like this. It's always fun to test out a new weapon and find a roll that works for you. Thanks so much for watching, and as always, I am the Black Link. You Guardians, stay frosty.